Okay, so I was living in Connecticut at my parents' home in 1994. I cut my hair really short, I'd gone off the pill, I had severe acne, I was very unattractive. I had just broken up with my boyfriend of 3 years who cheated on me, and I was very depressed and upset, and I fell in love with Adam Duritz of the Counting Crows. No, I really did. And I became so in love with him and thought that we had such a soul connection because he was so dark and sad and such an amazing lyricist that I thought, I'm going to make him a silk painting. So I decided to do an interpretation of Anna Begins. I don't know if you guys know it, but it's of like a blue hand reaching up towards a red rose with, you know, the words in between. And I found out his manager's name and I sent it. But I didn't say my last name because it wasn't about getting, you know, credit for it. It was just that I wanted to share something with him because he touched my soul and it was really important. So whatever, like 6 months goes by and I see signs and Counting Crows are coming to the Beacon Theater. I'm like, oh my God, I have to go. And meanwhile, a really good friend of mine's sister was on Saturday Night Live, so she was friends with Adam Duritz. I'm like, oh my God, hook me up. And she was like, she thinks it's kind of weird, you want to meet him. So there was that. And then my mom's best friend was this guy, Rick Dobbs, who's president of Polygram Records, and she ran into him at a party, and she's like, Kimmy really wants to meet Adam Duritz. He's like, why? And so no one was helping me, and I was like, I just want to meet him. I want a backstage pass. Is that so much to ask for? So I decide that I'm going to do it on my own. And I go and I get Martin Buber's I Thou, because I want him to understand that it's not that I want a relationship with him, I don't want to fuck him, I just want him to know that he's touched my soul and I understand my humanity more. So I get the book, and I'm waiting outside the Beacon Theater, and I'm like, he's gonna come, and it's raining out, and I see him bouncing down the street towards me with his fake dreadlocks, and I'm like, and he comes over to me, and I'm like, here you go. And I shake his hand, and that's it. I don't tell him I was the girl who sent the silk painting. I was just like, okay, I did it. Do you know what I mean? Like, I was having nightmares. I really wanted to meet him. I met him. I was psyched. I go to the, you know, the concert by myself because I didn't want to share the experience with anyone. I go, I'm crying, and I'm relating, I'm singing along. And I leave, I'm walking out, and a guy comes up to me, and he hands me a backstage pass. I was like, what? So we sit down, he's like, hey, I was in Adam's first band, I helped right around here. I'm like, hi. So he's coming on to me, I don't know what's going on. I end up in the back room of the China Club. Adam Duritz and Sean Penn are flitting around. I'm like, what the fuck is happening to me? So the guy, I tried to like contact the manager and tried to get a backstage pass and everyone was blowing me off. So I went up to the manager, I'm like, hi, my name's Kimberly. I sent this silk painting and I'm really sorry if I crossed that line between persistence and harassment. And he was like, no, it's fine. I'll leave you 2 tickets at the Beacon Theater the next night. And I was like, okay. But then the guy is like coming on to me and it's really sleazy and I get really freaked out. I'm like 22 and it's a really dark and scary world, so I'm crying and I leave. I'm like, fuck it, I'm not going to the concert tomorrow night. It's not what I thought it was. And the guy's like trying to get me to go to a strip club and I just leave. I get a message on my machine the next day because I had really been calling quite a bit. And he had my number, and it was from Martin, the manager, and he's like, hey, Adam didn't realize that you were the girl who sent the silk painting, and he'd very much like you to come to the Iridium, to this, you know, party, end of New York City party. And I was like, oh, I can't not do that. So I show up, and meanwhile, like, my friend's sister is there, the guy who came on to me is there, people are pointing at me, she's the one who sent the silk painting, I like have Pumas on and a backpack, I'm like, whatever. I end up in the back, like with the drummer who's telling me how depressed he is because everyone wants to know him now that he's famous. I'm like, you should leave then. If you want a family, leave. So then I finally wait to speak to Adam. I'm like waiting by a pole for 20 minutes. And I go up to him and I said, before I say anything, I want to understand what you think of my efforts towards you. And he said, I don't get them. I don't get it. And I'm like, well, I just want you to know, I don't think I know you. I don't want a relationship with you. I just wanted to thank you for being so honest because I was able to get in touch with a dark part of me because of you, and I appreciate that. And he goes, it's just weird, you know, it's personal. If people think they know me, and it's just really weird. So I proceed to get into a fight with him about art. I'm like, isn't the point of art that you're honest with yourself, you express your soul, and that you touch people's lives? And he's like, yeah, it's just so weird to me. I'm like, okay. You know, and then the woman comes up, like this other like sub-manager, and she's like, should we have mini hot dogs at the next party? I'm like, okay. So I'm like, it was really nice meeting you. Good luck to you. I'm sure everything will work out. And, you know, I start to walk away, and he taps me on the shoulder, and I turn around, and he's like, oh, forget it. I'm like, what? And he's like, I just don't want to be flip with you. And I said, it's okay, really. I'm okay. So I leave, and I am hysterically crying. I am hysterical. I'm like, oh my God. And I get in a cab, and the cab driver's like, are you okay, sweetie? And I said, I really don't know. And he's like, and I'm like, and I don't think I have money to tip you. And he goes, it's okay, sweetie. And he turned off the meter, and I thought to myself, here's this guy, this nameless guy, who has so much more soul than the person I had put so much stock into.